Thank you, Jennifer, for that kind introduction. It really is a pleasure to be here. In fact, I think it's the first time I've worn a gown since my own graduation, so I made it to the podium without falling over. That was progress. I'd like to begin by acknowledging we are gathered on the territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh people, and I'd extend my thanks to them for that opportunity. To the class of 2020, congratulations on your hard work and your achievement. In your time at BCIT, you've clearly grown in skill, knowledge, and expertise. You've gained a world-ready education from a top-class school. I was looking through BCIT stats, and you may be well aware of this, in fact, you're part of this, that 98% of BCI graduates are employed. That's a stunning figure. So congratulations, graduates, on your fine education, and congratulations, BCIT educators and staff, for delivering the skills and expertise the region needs, and indeed the world needs. To the parents, partners, families, and friends here today, your support of these graduates' education has lifelong impact. Speaking from my own experience, I grew up in rural Lancashire in the UK, across from a sheep field, in a village of less than 100 people. My parents were the first in their families to go to university, and their profound commitment to my education fundamentally changed my trajectory. As an example, when I was 6 or 7, my headmaster told my parents that I had university potential. I think they just thought I was a stroppy little child. They packed up the family and moved house to be in the catchment area for a top-quality state-funded school. In doing so, they ensured I got the early education I needed to one day win a spot at Cambridge University. And that in turn gave me opportunities I would not have had otherwise. So to the family members and friends here, I'd ask today's graduates once again to join me in thanking you for all you've done over the years to support them. And graduates, today it is my privilege to celebrate your success and to share a few pieces of advice that I've learned and that have come back to me time and again throughout my career. I gather the average age across the graduating schools today is 31. So some of you are well into your careers. Depending on your trajectory, today's milestone may add new momentum to your existing career, or maybe an even more significant turning point. Whatever your situation, I hope you will leave today's celebration with optimism for the path ahead, and hopefully a few tips for the road. Let's talk about the landscape you're graduating into in 2020, both globally and locally. Globally, we're grappling with climate change, trade wars, threats to democracy, the technological revolution and AI, pandemic risks like coronavirus, and a world population that in my lifetime has doubled to nearly 8 billion. Locally, we're preparing for 1 million new Metro Vancouver residents by 2050. Steady trade growth through the port in Vancouver, transportation challenges and opportunities, community changes, an aging population, technology change, the list goes on. It's a time of uncertainty and change, but also a time of opportunity. And the expertise in this room, including engineering, construction and trades, transportation specializations, environmental and energy efficiency specializations, to name just a few, will play a vital role in this region's future, and perhaps the world's future. Graduates, you stand on the cusp of new opportunities. And I'd like to share 3 lessons that I've learned and relearned through my career in the hope they may serve you in yours. And I'll share a few very brief stories along the way. My first piece of career advice echoes what Tom has already said. Actively pursue learning and development in your career, whenever you can. You've clearly already started on that approach because you're here today. But let me tell you why it's important to me. Not only can you increase your skills and probably reinforce your interest in the career you've chosen, but in my experience, by focusing on growth and learning, you can propel your career beyond what you will possibly imagine right now. So how did I learn this lesson? Right after university, I got a job at a big-name chemical company in the UK called ICI. In doing so, I expected I'd have a very well-planned graduate training program and early career. Jumping around different jobs, getting different bits of experience, moving around the country, possibly even moving around the world. Suddenly, a year into that role, my section of the company was spun off. The landscape changed. I was presented with a choice. Either stay on with the new, much smaller, riskier company in a much more developmental role, or go back to the mothership on a more typical, safer career path. I can tell you, I thought long and hard about that choice, weighed my options, and I chose the path with the riskier, smaller company. That catapulted me into an exciting and challenging role, managing 3 chemical plants and a team of about 100 people, and learning a lot. I was 23 years old. I was younger than all but 3 of the staff I was managing. I was quickly glad, though, to have chosen the higher stakes role. And more importantly, seeing that choice play out set me on a course to actively seek developmental roles, to guard against stalling. Fast forward 17 years ago. It says 17 years ago, it wasn't. Yeah, 12 years ago. Let's go with 12. It's about right. You're engineering, you're going to guess my age now. Never mind. I was 40 years old, working in Australia, and I got a phone call from a Vancouver headhunter. Was I interested in a job overseeing Canada's largest port? You'll deduce that I was. For me, that phone call, and ultimately getting this job, was the unforeseen result of the years I'd spent gaining experience that was useful, different, challenging, and developmental. Because of those choices, when this role came up, despite my relatively young age, I had a broader range of experience than any of the other candidates they'd considered. So that's my first piece of advice. Actively focus on learning and development, and be ready to seize opportunities that provide that. Turning to a second, I want to talk a little bit about the intersection between career and values. Growing up in the countryside in the UK, in a family that valued nature and people, not surprisingly, I developed strong values around environmental protection and looking after people. I studied mechanical engineering, in fact, aerospace. And my early career took me into heavy industries, including chemicals and steel. In that context, I had to learn to work with people outside protesting, saying, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. Interestingly, at the time, in the UK, the chemicals industry was actually leading the way globally on safety and environmental protection. But I can tell you, in that context, I thought carefully about how to reconcile my values and my career. The conclusion I came to, and I firmly believe this today, is that it's easy to stand on the outside and throw stones. The harder task is to figure out, if our society depends on these products and services, how can we run these businesses to ensure the best possible outcomes for our environment and our communities? Jumping forward to my time at the Vancouver Fraser Port Authority as CEO, I've had the privilege to help lead and advance sustainability in our organization. As you heard in my introduction, we've set a vision for the Port of Vancouver to be the world's most sustainable port. And we've carefully defined what we mean by that, the combination of economic prosperity through trade, a healthy environment, and thriving communities. We work among heavy industries, but we've had the chance not only to advance strong environmental practices across the port, but actually to showcase Canadian environmental expertise worldwide. We're doing that, for example, through a collaborative program we lead called ECHO, which aims to better understand and reduce the effects of shipping on at-risk whales. It's a program delivering world-leading research in this area. It's a remarkable collaboration. It's something I'm very proud of. To sum up, my experience on this has been, if you think an industry or an organization can be run better, you can make the biggest difference working on the inside. And let me turn to my final piece of advice. Very simply put, people matter the most. Time and again in my career, I've learned that if you have the opportunity to help someone, to mentor someone, to give someone their first big chance, seize that opportunity. Looking back to that job I mentioned earlier, I had at 23, managing 3 chemical plants, When I left that position, they organized a leaving do, as most companies do. And I remember the CEO came along. But I also remember a pipe fitter who went through an apprenticeship program that I was able to provide him the opportunity for, made a point to come along as well. He was about 40 years old at the time and really proud to have got that credential and to get a better job in the company as a result. Many years later, that's the bit I remember much more clearly. And it's something, again, I'm proud to have been a small part of. So in your career, when you have the chance to help somebody, seize it. Because ultimately, that's what you take with you. The people you've helped are your legacy. Graduates, let me wrap up with a final challenge to you. Today, you've achieved a remarkable milestone at an exceptional school. Your skills and expertise will open many doors for you. Yet as you contemplate those doors, remember that your skills and talents and the privilege we all have living in Canada come with responsibility. This is a defining time for the world we're part of. The choices you make matter. I urge you to find a place where you can actively use your skills for good, whether it's in this region, across the country, or even globally. Throw yourself into your career, learn everything you can, thoughtfully take risks, pour your values into your work, and stretch that influence beyond Canada's borders if you can. And wherever you are, see the people around you, value them, and build them up. Congratulations, Class 2020, on a job well done. The world is waiting for you. Go forward with confidence, hope, and your ideals. Quisque Dominus Summi. Good luck, bonne chance. Thank you.